We're at the Los Angeles Asian Pacific Film Festival. Jason,
that's right.
And your film is Save My Soul.
That's right.
Okay, I got to watch this yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, very, very fascinating. But tell us about your film.
Sure. So my name is Jason Y. Lee. I'm the director of Save My Soul. And it's a documentary we've been working on for the past 4 years, which is crazy. But it's a film about prostitution and sex trafficking in Korea. And in the film, honestly, when we first went out there, we had no idea about the issue or didn't really understand anything about it. But really quickly, the film focuses on 2 young girls who are victims of sex trafficking, Crystal and Esther. And through the course of the film, you kind of learn a lot more about the issue. And really, we wanted to use this film to raise awareness about this issue, not only in Korea, but all around the world. Because unfortunately, it's something that's happening everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It is a global issue.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
What was it about Korea was it opportunity, or was there something specific you wanted to say?
Well, first off, being a Korean American, I think I loved Korea. I always visited Korea. A lot of my family lives there. But actually, we got an email from a pastor in Korea who said, "Hey, I love the films that you're making. We really want you guys to come out and make a documentary on this." And honestly, our initial response was prostitution and sex trafficking in Korea. That's never something I've ever heard of, really, right? Because you think of, honestly, I used to think of Thailand and Brazil and even LA maybe, but not Korea. And he said, no, I assure you, it's pretty big here. Please come out. We'll pay for your flight out. So we said, okay, we'll come out. And what we learned as we started digging was just astounding. Just how ingrained in the culture and how pervasive prostitution was. And as we started to dig deeper, what we recognized was actually this isn't prostitution as we normally think about it, but it's actually a majority of this is sex trafficking, where it's young girls or women who are having to have sex but are not doing it necessarily by choice, or they haven't chosen this profession. And I think that was a really eye-opening experience for us, yeah.
Yeah, and what even struck me was not only the pervasiveness, but also, in a way, the blind eye the government takes to it.
That's
to
right.
the point where it's, I mean, if you don't have the government behind you, it's almost a hopeless cause.
Definitely, and I think that's very representative of the Asian kind of ethos, right?
Yeah.
Of like
saving face.
Yeah, no matter
There's
what's
no problem
happening.
here,
Exactly. No, everything is great on the outside. Even if there's all these problems on the inside, we have to look like we've got it all buttoned up and put together.
And then even the treatment of women in general.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And there's so much, I think, imbalance and misogyny, unfortunately. So at first that was really kind of discouraging, right? To be honest, it was really disheartening to learn about this because, again, I'm really proud to be Korean. I'm really proud to be Korean American. And I didn't want to necessarily say, hey, look at Korea and how bad it is. And initially that's how I felt a little bit. But slowly, as I started to understand the culture, what I realized was that this isn't bad people.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really, really good people or just normal people just doing bad things.
Yeah.
And what I think the most humbling experience for me was when I realized that I could have very well been born and raised in Korea.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had, then I think I would be paying for sex as well.
Yeah.
And when everyone is doing something, you start to feel like, yeah, this is okay. And we hope that in some small way that Save My Soul will help to start a conversation of maybe this is not the way that things are supposed to be.
Yeah. I mean, funny, not funny, but I adopted my daughter from Korea.
Oh, yeah.
And the circumstances of her birth are, make me wonder if, this could have been her life.
Yeah, and that's the heartbreaking thing because time after time, well, first off, if you talk about this issue in Korea, what they'll say is these girls are dirty girls.
Yeah.
They're just greedy or selfish. They want nice handbags.
Which is what they would say here, too.
What is it? Yeah. Right. And just to be really clear, there is a small percentage of girls who are doing this by choice and are making a lot of money, actually. But that is not the majority.
Yeah.
The majority of these girls are girls who come from abusive households or sexually abused or beaten, who ran away from home and really had no safety net. There was nothing to support them. And so this wasn't a choice that they deliberately made, but they ended up as a young person making bad decisions and being caught in this kind of web of deception and debt. where they can never come out. So I think as you talk about your daughter, like, it's unfortunate, but it's true that it definitely preys upon the unfortunate and tough situations and tough circumstances.
So if you watch the film, you do a lot of undercover.
We do, yeah.
How dangerous was that?
Honestly, now as I watch it, sometimes I'm like, man, these guys are so stupid.
I know, you guys almost got beat up at one point.
We definitely did. And I think at the time we knew it was dangerous. We didn't know to what extent it was dangerous, though. And I don't necessarily think that if we had been caught, we would have been killed or anything like that. But I think we would have been seriously hurt. And that's why I'm really happy that the film was done and we have that footage. And I think in the spur of the moment while we were there, we just recognized, you know what? We can talk about this all we want, but unless we show a little bit of what it looks like on the inside, show a little bit of the men, show a little bit of the actual girls, people are not going to understand what we're talking about.
Yeah, I kind of think of it like cancer. You don't see it on the outside, but it's down there underneath, and and no one's doing anything, or very few people are doing what it needs to get rid of it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So now also your filmmaking style, like I said, a lot of undercover, a lot of hidden cameras. I would imagine that's something you couldn't do here in the States.
Yeah, I don't know. To be honest, I think because we were in Korea, in a foreign country, we were bolder. Yeah. We asked bolder questions. We were less afraid of getting caught. And we just said, you know what, let's really go for it. Yeah. I think if we were to do it in the U.S., it would be done very differently. Yeah. But still, even though we were making a film about Korea, and a lot of it's in Korean, we wanted to make a film that was geared for a Western audience. So the storytelling, I guess, technique and the way that we kind of do it, I think it still will feel very familiar to us and hopefully entertaining, but also interesting.
So what is your background as a filmmaker? Do you do documentaries, or is it the narrative that you're mostly doing?
It's funny because my background wasn't in filmmaking. I am a businessman by trade. I studied business and I went to consulting, and about 7 years ago I started Jubilee Project, which is a nonprofit production company. And we were just doing a lot of short videos, like YouTube content, really fun narrative short films. And over the past 7 years, we've been kind of growing and learning quite a bit. And now we're launching Jubilee Media. But my background, I think it's just in great stories. I love great human stories. And especially now in this world where I feel like we're really divided with the election and with race relations and everything internationally, and just here at home, we want to be the media company that's bridging people together and inspiring love. And that's what we want Jubilee to be known for. And we're really proud of Save My Soul because I think it perfectly kind of represents a lot of that.
Yeah. And like I said, for me, it was eye-opening. You know, it's just something happens, but
you just don't think about it, right?
And just the pervasiveness of, I mean, I think that one night you went to 12 brothels?
We went to in the film we say 15, we went to about 20 different brothels. Yeah. And each one of them have dozens of girls. And the reason we told the story the way that we did was we really put a big focus on Crystal and Esther in the film. Yeah. And the reason we did so is because sometimes you hear these numbers like 1.3 million girls or women in Korea are victims of sex trafficking. And you say, oh my God, that's so many people. But as you start to think of actual individuals, like Crystal or Esther, who could have been like your daughter or like my little sister. When we start thinking about them, that's when it starts to, I think, really pull on our hearts, and we recognize, hey, this is not right. Yeah.
And the story they had before going into prostitution is a common story. It's something that happens to a lot of women, and they could easily go down that path.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So as a viewer, obviously the awareness is one thing, but is there a call to action that you have?
One of the first immediate calls of action for us is actually to go and help us to buy and sell the film. And the reason is we're going to be launching on iTunes next week, our pre-sale, and it's coming out on July 4th, is because we've been trying to get this film as widely distributed as possible. And our goal is to be on Netflix, just because we feel like everyone watches documentaries there. And the folks at Netflix have said, you know what, we're not really sure if there's going to be enough demand, or we're not really sure if this is a film for us. So we're asking everyone to go buy the film on iTunes, buy it twice, just so that we have incredible numbers and can show people, hey, there's this huge coalition of people who want to watch this film and believe that's important. Because at the end of the day, it's not even about making back the money for the production. It's really about wanting as many people to watch this film as possible.
Yeah, I mean, as a father of a daughter, it's, it just hurts to see that this is where your kid can go, but at the same time, there's thousands of kids who have gotten caught in this lifestyle.
Yeah, and ultimately, it is a really tough film to watch. I think it's a difficult film, but we ended up with a story of hope, because at the end of the day, what I learned from Crystal and from Esther is that despite being handed probably, I think, the worst hand possible in life, they're the ones who still have the most optimistic view on the world and on humans. And surely if they can see the world that way, we can as well. Yeah.
So tell me, what does it mean to you to be here at the Los Angeles Asian Pacific Film Festival?
Man, this is a dream. I'm so excited. I think just to be able to premiere here and for so many people to be able to watch the film is such an incredible honor, first off, just because so many of our mentors, my mentors and role models have come out of LA Asian Pacific Film Festival. Our community is based in LA, and so many of the people who've worked on this film. So I think tomorrow night is going to be an opportunity for us to really celebrate and appreciate everyone's hard work. And it's just incredible because it's really the community coming out and saying, hey, we support independent filmmakers. We want to tell the stories that need to be heard. Yeah.
Okay, so it's coming out tomorrow.
It's coming out Saturday, 5 p.m. Yep.
Okay, and then you'll be on iTunes.
And we're launching on iTunes to pre-sale on Sunday.
So
okay.
And then it'll come out in June.
In July 4th.
July. Okay. July 4th. Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Independence Day.
Yeah, everyone can crack open a beer, have a hot dog, and watch a very serious but important film.
Yeah, no, definitely. How can we learn more about the film?
Yeah. We just ask everyone to go visit savemysoul.com. Soul being SEOUL. And follow us on social media, Save My Soul, on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. That would be great.
All right. Well, it's definitely an eye-opening film, and I encourage everyone to see it.
Hey, thank you so much, Alan.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.